have a confession to make. I bought a new gadget. I'm Natalie Lucier, founder of Access Ally, which is a WordPress plugin for creating and selling online courses, memberships, and communities, and doing it in a very elegant and flexible way. But even though I'm a tech person myself, I actually don't love buying new tech that often. I'm still using an old iPad from 2017 with a cracked screen, and I bought my cell phone used, so Apple made no money from me recently. But here's the thing, when I first came across the Freewrite Traveler, I knew it could really solve a specific problem and help me in my business. I create a lot of content. I'm writing emails and newsletters and blog posts and even scripting videos like these all the time. And that means I need to have distraction-free time and space to write. And pre-pandemic, I used to go to the coffee shop, turn off my Wi-Fi on my laptop, and just write until I finished my tea and it was time to go home. And since we moved to this small farm in the middle of nowhere in Ontario, Canada, I haven't been able to really focus and find that zone that I was getting when I was going to that local coffee shop. So I really was looking for something, and when I saw the Freewrite Traveler, it really clicked for me. And that's because when I'm able to really focus on my writing for even just 30 minutes and really be in the zone, it's a highly profitable activity in my business. And that's why I knew that the Freewrite Traveler was going to be worthwhile as an investment for my business and my business writing. Now, the Freewrite was designed for creative writing, but I've found that it works great for writing social media content, for writing scripts like these, which is exactly where I put it on my Freewrite, as well as really blog posts, journaling. There's so many amazing things that you can do with it. And I should say right off the top, this is not sponsored. I purchased my own Freewrite Traveler and there is zero affiliate kickback or anything like that. I just think it's such a great tool that I wanted you to know about it. So let's take a look at why I fell in love with the Freewrite Traveler at first sight, and also some of the things that I didn't see in any of the other Freewrite Traveler reviews that will hopefully help you decide if it's a worthwhile investment for you or not, because it may or may not be the solution that you're looking for. So first of all, what is the Freewrite Traveler? Well, it's a dedicated machine only meant for writing and drafting. So it is not meant for social media. It is not meant for editing. It is not meant for taking pictures or editing any of those things either. It is purely a writing device, and it is meant to be super streamlined and have zero distractions. There are other perks to just being able to write on this machine too. So when you're considering buying a new device, I always like to think about the carbon footprint of this device and how long it's going to actually stay in your hands before it ends up in a recycling plant or possibly in landfill. So what I love about the Freewrite Traveler is that it is about half the carbon footprint of a regular laptop. So it's much simpler made and it doesn't have as many parts, doesn't source as many ingredients that are rare, and so that makes it easier to create. And the Freewrite Traveler also uses a lot less battery because it's not trying to power all of your different apps at the same time. It can save on battery, which means the battery life can go up to a whole month of daily use. And as someone who is super paranoid about running out of battery on my laptop, I love that because I can bring this with me. I don't have to bring the charger. I know I can write for as long as I need to write, and I'm not gonna run out of power. Plus, the less often you have to charge the battery, the more eco it is too. Now, another thing that I absolutely love about the Freewrite Traveler is how easily it syncs back to your desktop or your laptop. And it does that through a service called Postbox, which is run by the company that created the Freewrite Traveler, Astro House. And I really like the way they do this. You can actually see your daily word count. You can decide to save your documents automatically to Google Drive or Dropbox, and even email them to yourself as you're writing. So it's super easy. I love that I can just go into one folder in my Google Drive and see all the writing I've been doing on my Freewrite. Another huge benefit that I didn't realize about the Freewrite Traveler until I got it in my hands and started using it is the Eink screen and how it's so much better for your eyes. So if you're always staring at a screen like so many of us as entrepreneurs are, we're editing videos, we're on Zoom calls, we're constantly in front of a screen. Even if we're just trying to chill and watch Netflix, we're always in front of this backlit bright screen. And so with an e-ink device, it really makes it so much easier on our eyes, especially if you want to write in a very smooth and relaxed way. What I also love is that it's so light and you can really bring it anywhere. Now that's just a quick rundown of the features and what are the things that I like about it. So how did I actually enjoy using it and how has my productivity been affected? Well, the first day I got it, I wrote 2,000 words, which is definitely on the high end for me. And I was able to knock out a bunch of emails that I had to write for my business, get some newsletters done, and just kind of create content that have been on the back burner that I didn't want to sit at my desk for. And I absolutely love that. And since then, I've been using it every single day for all kinds of things, from journaling and coming up with ideas for writing social media posts away from social media so I can actually focus and do it, and also writing blog posts and tons of website copy. I love how the Freewrite Traveler is so simple, and the way that you keep things organized is with 3 simple folders, A, B, and C. So in my first folder, I have all of my business stuff for emails, for social media, for blog posts. The second folder for me is where I journal and just keep track of all the amazing stuff we're doing on our farm and with our family. And then the third folder right now might be for creative things like poems or other things that come to the surface. Now, I have to admit that I completely impulse purchased the Freewrite Traveler because it really spoke to me when I saw it. And while I was waiting for it to arrive, it's when I started to do my research on it, and I watched a bunch of other reviews on YouTube, and I just read reviews across the web, and there were a couple of things that kept coming up over and over again. And the biggest is the price of the Freewrite Traveler, and even the price of the original Freewrite, which is a more standalone version that doesn't look as much like a laptop that opens and closes. And the thing is, when it comes to these types of investments, I feel like there are different ways to look at it. The first is to compare it to other devices. So yes, you could buy a laptop, you could buy a tablet or something that does a lot more for the similar price, or even cheaper if you're getting them used. But of course, if you're getting a high-end version of those, they'll be way more expensive too. But I really like being able to support a small business that is creating a niche product for people who are making a living through their writing. And that's exactly what I do. Obviously, we run a software company, so we create software. This would not be the device to write software on, but really the other aspects of our business that include writing really benefit from a tool like this, because I'm able to write anywhere and also able to write away from Slack and social media and all the things that kind of pull me away from my focus. And I also don't think that Astro House, the company that built these devices, is trying to fleece anyone or be overly greedy. I really feel like when it comes to creating a product like this that is physical, that takes a lot of engineering, a lot of development, and a lot of production and shipping and all of these things, it's not easy to do, especially when a small company like Astro House is really competing with Apple and Microsoft and Dell and all these other giant companies that have the economy of scale where they can actually buy things in the millions, whereas this company, it's a little bit smaller and they can't necessarily source such amounts of things and save so much. In my opinion, Astro House does fewer things better, and the Freewrite Traveler does an amazing job at what it was made to do. Now, there were a couple of other things that people often brought up, and the issue that came up a lot was this case here and how shiny and black it is and how hard it is to remove fingerprints or scratches from. So I haven't found this to be much of an issue. I feel like probably because we live on a farm and I'm constantly shoveling sheep poop, a couple of fingerprints on my device is not a big deal. Another thing that comes up a lot is the refresh rate as you're typing on the screen. So as you type new things on the screen, it will obviously show up. However, it's not exactly an instant thing. So like if you're used to typing on a computer or a laptop, you'll see it show up right away because the screen has a very quick refresh rate. And when it comes to the Freewrite Traveler, there is a slight delay, but I would say it's actually not an issue because you should be focusing on just writing and getting to the next sentence. And if you do notice that there's an issue, you can always go back and make edits because the Freewrite Traveler has this handy up, down, back, and forward buttons that allows you to go back and make edits. However, that's not how I like to use it. I rather just write my draft on the Freewrite Traveler, have it uploaded to my Google Drive, and then I do all my edits on my computer. And the reason for that is because I'm a lot more fresh and I'm a lot more likely to spot other things that are not just typos when I reread my work later on. And I usually like to do that the next day so that I have clear eyes. I can spot things that maybe didn't get worded properly the first time, or that I should add more context or more nuance on my next pass. So here's the bottom line. If you are a creative or a coach or someone who does a lot of writing in your online business, then I really think that the Freewrite Traveler is a great addition to your workflow, especially if you have a hard time finding that focused time that is away from all the distractions that we all have to deal with on a regular basis. Now, I should also note that I never used the original Freewrite. I just went straight for the Freewrite Traveler. It just seemed so much better in the way that I wanted to use it, and being able to, head out to the greenhouse and write, or head out to the barn and do whatever I need to do, and have my Freewrite right there too. So let's recap. Here's what I think about the Freewrite Traveler. I think it's an amazing little device that's really easy on the eyes for writing distraction-free. It is an investment, and if you don't have an existing computer like a laptop or a desktop right now to do your editing, then I would recommend investing in those first. But if you already have those, this makes a great addition to your writing toolkit. The syncing functionality is flawless and really makes editing so much easier on your computer once you're ready to go. Finally, it's so easy to use, and it's really bare bones. Anybody can learn how to use it really quickly, and even my kids love jumping on it and typing and pretending to write things, and sometimes I do get an email with a gibberish draft, but I think it is so awesome for it to be super stripped down and just focus on what you need to do. I'm really happy with my purchase, and the amount of work I've been able to generate on it has already shown that it's proven to be a good decision in my particular business, even though it was an impulse buy. And I will say that it really pairs well with a pen and notebook if you like to mind map like I do before I start writing. To find out more about my mind mapping process, especially when it comes to creating online courses, watch the next video now with all the tips that I have to create the best online course that you can.